Welcome to All My Friends Are Cooler Than Me. I'm Wes.
And I'm Dr. Laura. Enjoy today's episode.
And learn how to be just a little bit cooler. All right, everybody. We are very, very fortunate to be joined by a good buddy of mine today. And this man is incredibly intimidating. Full disclosure. And it's not because of the fact that he can rip an automobile in half. It's not because he can solve very complicated math problems and, do nuclear physics in his head. It's not because he's one of the most talented systems engineers in the world. It has nothing to do with the fact that he has a glorious mustache or anything remotely resembling that. It's because he truly challenges himself and the people around him to be better every day. And he does it with a heart of absolute gold. Ladies and gentlemen, my buddy Ethan.
How's it going, Wes? It's always a pleasure talking to you, and we go way back. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, brother. Dude, any chance that I get to see your face, I'm gonna be psyched.
Honestly,
I dressed up today. I wanted to be fun and frivolous with you because you are, a person that I want to impress. So I felt like I should bust out the jean shorts, slid it up,
Color me impressed. You can't go wrong with the classic rubber duck. I mean, no one expects it. Comes out of the blue.
Yeah, unless it's me apparently. Then everybody just kind of like ducks. Just give him ducks. He'll shut up. He'll be happy. like feeding the marine crayons.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling they're not going to like that joke.
They won't understand it. I get it. It's all of my marine friends and brothers out there. I love you. Everybody needs that strong feral beast friend who will eat someone for you. Appreciate you guys. And so looking at who you are today, right? I just kind of painted this picture, but it's all real. You have accomplished a lot in your lifetime. You're one of the few guys I know that didn't do a ton of time in the Navy before getting out and pursuing bigger and better things. You have basically, since I've known you at least, just woken up every day and chosen excellence. And it's always a little bit more excellence than the day before. So if you don't mind me asking, and this is going to sound like a weird question, but would you be willing to paint me a picture of who you were at 8, 16, 22, and now?
Absolutely, yeah. So 18, pre-Navy, high school, super easy. Didn't study too hard. Really wasn't committed to much. Kind of going nowhere fast. Was doing okay in college. I went the typical route initially, and just couldn't really afford it, and just not really going anywhere, not doing much, and then just always feeling the urge to do more, and just not really having the resources to do that. Joined the military. It was best decision I ever did. And then pre-Navy, right? Ethan was really heavy set, pushing 300 plus, and just didn't know how to. I swear, going through high school, I did not know what the calories were. I would just eat whatever I wanted to, whenever I wanted to. Like eating a big old bag of frosted donuts with a peach tea, like a peach one. Those are so good, but they're terrible for you, right? They're full of sugar.
That is Wes's preferred breakfast meal, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm a little worried now.
Are you a peach guy or a lemon one?
Did I get a punch? No, I'm still good. Yeah, it's the Adderall. That's the trick. You just gotta chase it with an Adderall. It never hit you.
I'll keep that in mind. And then joining, and then having access to the academic resources that I wanted to make myself better in that way, mentally at least. And then joining us on FEP, I barely made it at boot camp. To be honest, the number count whenever for the physical test to get out of boot camp, the number count may not have, how that goes. But and then getting on FEP out of A school, and then being on FEP, and then just trying to make myself better. The thing is, I hate to sound so cliche about it, right? But going through boot camp and just having that instillment of, we're not here to be average, just because you're doing all right doesn't mean that you can't be better. So getting out of boot camp and, losing a bunch of weight and then putting it all right back on in the form of mostly muscle, and then going through school, struggled a little bit. And then that gave me the opportunity for some character building and really helped refine what I was looking for as far as academics. And then at 22, shoot, I was on the Lincoln out in San Diego at the time. I was doing some strongman competitions out there, and then on the ship at least, and then pursuing my bachelor's in nuclear engineering technology, which is just the normal, pretty typical route for the majority of the nuclear community. And you and I, we met at the Arnold. I think that was probably the biggest I've ever been as far as being prepared to go lift heavy weights. So that was an awesome, probably first introduction. But yeah, going to school now, kind of more narrowed down what I wanted to do as far as academics, and still, make myself better every day in the gym. It's a passion, it's not just trying to be better in one aspect of life, it's just always staying curious, staying persistent. I definitely wouldn't quantify myself or classify myself as like the smartest person ever. I appreciate you saying that though. Just more persistent, I would say.
Did I say that? I actually said that?
I heard it in your,
Oh, technically this is like our show, so if we say it, then it's a fact. And I didn't bring, so I don't think you can fight that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I live in your head actually a little bit. We got, yeah, just staying persistent and not letting failures get to you too much. Think of everything as a learning opportunity in life, and not everything is necessarily a bad thing. Even if it may seem like a bad thing, right? There's always lessons to be learned. There's always takeaways to make yourself emotionally, intelligently smarter, or book smart, street smart, gym smart, whatever, what may have you.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I just talking about the Arnold, that was really cool. That was a great way to meet somebody I had no idea at the time was going to be a friend for life and for years afterwards. But I had a blast, and I know you're saying that was your biggest, but I just want you to know that you will always be a giant in my heart, bro.
Absolutely, nice. You're always the biggest cheerleader. I feel like you're so nice to everyone. It's so like heartwarming. It's like the nicest person ever.
That gesture, by the way, and those people just listening, he just acted like he was strangling me. So I'm really confused. That was like a cute little animal squeeze, or like I need to make you stop now.
Maybe both, but it's more.
That was an awkward pause after me asking that question. Am I safe? Like when we hang out again. Oh, man. So here's my question: what made you decide to go the non-traditional route? Because a lot of people that were in your shoes, they kind of plateau, right? Like they kind of fall off. I mean, would you say that's fair? Like people that kind of like start on these big journeys, like they start to build something, they just kind of plateau. Or am I just being anecdotal with absolutely no evidence and everybody's gonna look at me like I'm telling you? Got it. All right.
I feel it might be like, I don't know, something that keeps me going is if I quit right now, right? It's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel good to take a break from whatever you're doing. Not do. I got a huge assignment due next week. It's like 50 pages. I'll probably be up pretty late tonight doing it. But if I were to take a break, right, not do it, get a bad grade, it's gonna feel good in the moment. But 6 months from now, a year from now, I'm gonna look back at myself and wish I'd done it. The pain of regret is always more than the pain of just doing it now.
Yeah, you're kind of weighing the short-term versus the long-term consequences.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity here, in regards to the nature of our relationship, are you weighing the long-term consequences? Is this for life insurance? I'm still trying to figure out why.
I'm told that the Navy benefits are really
Okay,
good.
yeah,
so.
cool, got it.
Hey, don't tell her about SGLI.
So what's the big dream though, man? Is there a mountain peak?
I've actually been asking myself that a lot lately. You know, like what's it all for? I don't know. It's an awesome question. I know I'm on track to finish my master's in December of this year, which is pretty exciting. And then, I think it's just the pursuit. I think it's not necessarily the journey, but more not necessarily the destination, but the journey. Right? It's just having the opportunity to experience new things. I wouldn't say that there's like a mountain peak in sight. Some people feel as though that it would be better just to, I'm already thinking about what degree I'm going to pursue next. And
Oh yeah.
some people are like cautioning me, hey, take a break for a few years. But I know in the back of my head that if I were to take a break, or like in the gym, right, or in school or in career, that it's a lot harder to pick it back up. So that's what keeps me motivated.
The tracks. She was about to say something evil. I saw it in her eyes.
Shoot.
So here's my big kind of question this way. You described some pretty heavy obstacles early, right? Like having to adapt to this new mentality, this new mindset. Were there any obstacles that you kind of faced after you had started that upward trajectory? Things that tried to knock you off course?
I would say that, habits are hard to break. So, for instance, high stress environment academics or high stress environment on the ship are my coping mechanism, right? Is to, just get a pint of Ben and Jerry's and, kind of dissociate. But this is not the healthiest way to do it, right? So like breaking the bad habits, I would say were definitely hard to overcome. And then making time for, because I would especially here recruiting, right, I would do 9-10 hour days in the office, helping folks join the Navy, or helping someone go the extra mile, and then have to go home and do 4-5 hours worth of schoolwork, so such that I could finish my bachelor's before I got out. And I think that something that I'm still working on overcoming is making time for the people who are important. So, family, friends. Got a French bulldog. His name is Carlos. He's adorable.
Where's Carlos? Why is he not on film right now?
He's upstairs. I'll bring him down. But yeah, just making sure that they also feel the not only the benefits of what you're doing, but make sure that you're still involved. Not being so like mentally checked out, focused on something else, and just kind of being in the moment. I think that that's something I still struggle with, and it's something that I've struggled with in the past. I'm still learning to get past it.
It's an interesting point too. If you're someone who is so goal directed, you can become really focused on achieving that one thing. And then sometimes it comes at the cost of other things that are important to you, like relationships, like you're saying. So
Exactly.
I kind of like the idea of not working towards the top of the mountain, but just enjoying the journey. What do you do when you get to the top of the mountain? Then you've done it.
On the next mountain. Collect gym badges. Yeah.
I actually re-downloaded Pokemon Go recently. So.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to be friends on there.
Yeah, quick product plug.
Unintentional.
Today's episode is brought to you by the One Man, One Mic Foundation, $3 Water, Badger, Operation Gamify, and the Ink and Frame Collective. Check out the episode description for more details. So, just out of curiosity, what do you do with the overwhelming sense of rage and righteous fury that you feel every time you look into the mirror and realize that no one will ever be able to compete with your hair or mustache.
Like the post Navy mullet, it's coming in nice.
For those of you who are just listening, he is describing what can only be called glorious in one word.
So nice.
Imagine the perfect dark brown with golden accent curls of some Greek god layered with all business in the front, and then a mustache that would make your mother weep for joy. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Uncanny.
I should narrate audiobooks. Think.
I do kind of miss the clean cut look though. I don't know. Starting this new job, I don't know what to expect. I'm gonna show up on the first day with my physical manifestation of Dale Earnhardt, and I don't know how it's gonna go. Hope they buy off on it.
Brother, like full honesty, I'm fucking digging the vibe. Like I'm so fucking with it. Like it looks great on you, man.
Thanks.
How are you feeling about Ohio? Oh, sorry.
You can do it.
Tell me about Ohio.
So, kind of going through like the highs and lows of getting out of the military, like the mental back and forth, and just going to school full time, and it's okay. I kind of just miss being part of like working towards a mission, right? Everyone being part of a community, like everyone's striving towards one thing. So if there's my buddy out there, actually, Jake Smith, he was telling me about everything that was going on out there with Amazon, and caught my interest. It relatively aligns with my educational path, so shot my shot. And starting on June 2nd, I'll be out there. Looking forward to it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So if you're ever in the area, for maybe the Arnold sometime, you've got a place to stay and we'll have to get a drink.
So it seems like this is going to be kind of an unknown, uncharted territory for you, a new challenge. How do you approach something new?
Ooh, definitely. Coming here to Colorado, I had a lot of family here, which has made the transition a little bit easier. But going out there, I've essentially only got one friend, so I've been feeling a little anxious about it lately. I've been doing some apartment shopping online, just trying to embrace the unknown, and just try to see it as a new opportunity for growth and travel, new experiences, new job, new career field, and just trying to see only the pros. I mean, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, right? But at least I would know, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the pain of not knowing is greater than the pain of knowing, something like that. And then,
yeah, it was solid.
So, just trying to stay open minded. Trying to, just try to see the best. Should be fun.
So, what do you think, sweetheart? Do you have any sage wisdoms, dark truths,
Nothing dark, always light here.
ancient eldritch knowledge? There we go.
Well, one of the things that really stood out to me, Ethan, in the way that you described yourself is persistence. And I think a lot of the reason why you are so successful and you've been able to accomplish so much in your life is that you've been persistent in the face of challenges and setbacks. And in psychology, a lot of what we know about persistence actually comes from the field of education. So there's this psychological construct called grit. I don't know if you've heard of the concept of grit.
Is that true? Boom, boom. True Grit plug. Great movie.
Oh,
I don't think I've seen that.
so Western, a modern Western. Anyway, basically this grit is this idea that people kind of vary in how resilient they are and how willing they are to persevere, right? So in particular, persevere in the face of setbacks, stressors, failures, right? And what we found is that kids who are able to keep going despite challenges, despite failure, end up having a lot more academic success. But it turns out that, the studies of grit now are showing that even into adulthood, people are a lot more successful if they have this kind of style, right? And so they've tried to kind of understand, well, what makes someone gritty? What's kind of underlying this persistence? And it's two things, right? So if you have something really difficult, you have to be able to maintain interest or passion for what you're doing, right? So there has to be a goal, there has to be a reason. And number two, you have to just keep going, even when it's difficult, even when it would be so much easier just to give up, like you're saying, right? So they've talked a lot about, okay, this concept of grit exists, but how can we actually increase it? How can we train people to be like this? And there's kind of like two key ideas. And you again, we're picking up on both of these. So one is just about kind of in the moment, how do you train yourself to keep going? And it comes down to reminding yourself of why you're doing it and why it's important. So, like you were saying, thinking about all of the positive consequences, the reasons why keeping going and accomplishing this goal are actually going to make things better for you. And then the second part of that is goals are a lot easier to persevere and keep working towards if being a person who is persistent is something that's important to your self concept, right? So if being a person who persists, who works hard, who keeps going, is part of your self concept, then you can remind yourself of that when you are kind of confronted with these challenges, right? So that's kind of in the moment for any particular goal when you're like feeling a little bit stuck. You can kind of remind yourself of those things. And then the other thing that they have been talking about, again, mostly in the area of education, but I think you can kind of think about how you might extend it to other areas, is training people to have a growth mindset. And you absolutely have a growth mindset, right? So the converse to this is a fixed mindset, this idea that people are who they are born with certain genetics. Some people are more talented inherently than others, right? And that you can't really change very much, versus a growth mindset focuses a lot less on innate talents, innate differences, and more on effort, right? So putting in the work, having this capacity to learn, to grow, to better yourself simply by keeping on going and really approaching challenges not as failures, not as setbacks, but as an opportunity for learning, an opportunity for growth, right? So to the extent that we can cultivate a growth mindset, it really helps us to keep going when times are hard and ultimately work towards the things that are important to us, the things that are going to give us meaning.
Okay, makes sense. So essentially, the boiled down, less idiot version is absorbing that that sense of continuation and perseverance as a core personality trait, so that you're not at risk of losing it, right?
Yeah.
And using that growth mindset to basically spark that fire of passion and care for the whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Exactly. And believing that you can do anything, right?
Yeah.
So if you put in the work, if you put in the effort, you can accomplish anything. There are no limits.
Can I be 6'2"? Because that would be.
I mean,
I think I'd be too dangerous. Never mind. That was a bad. Shouldn't do that.
Is being tall is not all that it's cracked up to be. Being 6'5" is actually a huge pain. I can't buy any regular clothes, and I drive a truck because I can barely fit in a sedan.
Airplanes
I
must be torture for you.
wear size 14 shoes, and I always have to buy them online. Right, it takes like a month to get to me. So
I know you're just trying to make me feel better about the fact that I'm 4'3", but yeah. So I guess with all of that said, if you were to go back to that 18, 22-year-old you and try to kind of distill it down into some lessons that that person would be able to receive here and take action on, what would you kind of like say to yourself? How would you phrase it, you think? Is that a harder
probably
question?
probably just you know don't be afraid to fail. It's gonna happen regardless. Anything you do in life, no one's good at it the first time around. Everyone who you look up to in any essentially aspect in life has failed more times than you've even tried. So don't nothing is very very few things in life are natural, and anything else is you're just gonna have to get good at it. So don't be afraid to try something new and fall on your face. It's awesome. Feels good. Um, but just don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to lose.
I know that you literally just said that very few things in the world ever like feel natural or come naturally, but I'm really glad that our friendship did because you're
Oh,
awesome, brother.
oh, that was good.
Yeah.
It was quick. Yeah.
Well, I have failed so many times at talking or like being anywhere near socially adept that I just gave up. But then it turns out that was actually my growth mindset,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know? So now I just say whatever the hell comes into my mind with no filter, which seems to work.
It's working out okay for
Yeah. Nail it.
I like that you said that because I feel as though I'm at least average in a lot of aspects in life, but the emotional intelligence aspect, or like the social skills aspect, is something that is potentially lost on me. So coming into this interview, I was a little nervous, a little anxious, but I didn't want to, I wanted to be involved, such that I could put myself into like a potentially an uncomfortable situation. It's not, um, but such that I could make myself better in that regard. So I empathize with what you're saying.
I thought you were just coming on because we were friends. I didn't know you were just using me for personal growth, man. Ouch. Damn. I mean, I still love you like a brother, but hurtful.
Ah, of course.
You didn't know. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine.
No, absolutely.
He agrees you're like a brother.
Oh,
That's what we've
Exactly.
been
That's what
taught. Yeah.
well, seriously, but thank you so much for coming on, going out of your comfort zone, and literally using the show to demonstrate the points that we're making on this episode. And I sincerely hope that the people that are listening, whether that be 5 or 5,000 or -3 somehow, are able to incorporate it and kind of learn and emulate some of your perseverance, growth, mindset, awesomeness. And if they're watching this on video, your hair.
you know. Of course, thank you for the opportunity. It's always a good time talking to you. It's always it's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit more, Dr. Laura.
Thank you. Great to get to know you as well.
I'll have my therapist send you some notes, right? And maybe we'll circle back.
Yeah, perfect.
Suzanne, you have once again demonstrated why my opinion is completely valid and correct, that you are in fact cooler than me. And I hope you have a great rest of your night, man. Every episode of All My Friends Are Cooler Than Me is made possible by the One Man, One Mic Foundation. Purpose, belonging, and connection are often found in a life of service, but so rarely in the silence that comes after. The One Man, One Mic Foundation exists to help veterans and active duty service members find purpose through storytelling, belonging within our communities, and connection to the world through podcasting. Help bring them back to community. Find out more at onemanOneMicFoundation.org.